What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of CMA Podcast. How is everybody doing? Today I am joined by a guitar shredding assassin, Sonia Anubis. Sonia, how are you doing, sister?
I'm doing pretty well, feeling pretty fresh because it's so early in the morning. Well, I mean, early, like 10 a.m. or something, but I feel energized for everything that's coming, so I'm good.
Amazing. And here's a sentence that I think every musician loves to hear. You just got back from tour, right?
Well, it was like a productive amount of days that included concerts. So I'm not sure if I can call it a tour, but I went to Brazil to be with my band Crypta. All the girls are from Brazil, so it was a natural choice to go there. And we have done a lot of cool band related stuff, such as recording a music video, being together and recording content, playing and rehearsing a lot together. We have rehearsed every single day. And we have played three different shows. Two of them were a live stream, due to the COVID situation. It's very hard to do a live concert, but we did two different live streams. They are pre-recorded and we're gonna release them a little bit later this year or the next one. And then we have the third one, which was meant to be a live stream, but it happens to be a drive-in concert. And that's actually a funny story because I heard it the same day, oh, it's going to be a drive-in show, so we're actually going to play in front of people. But then once we were on top of the stage, there was literally a crowd in front of us of people. And I was like,
Wow.
well, that's nice. I mean, people literally got out of the car and just break the barriers and got in front of the show, even though it was not allowed. But at least we got like a little crowd there. So it was like finally the first show after 2 years, and it felt super magical because it's our first real show with Crypta.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I went to Brazil. But it was very productive, and it felt kind of not really like touring, but it felt like finally being a musician again, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, this pandemic has taken its toll on so many different aspects of life, uh, be it in the gym or musicians, especially like the big bands where you see like band members leaving and having to go get like essentially real jobs and all that nonsense talk that they
Yeah,
have. But I've been a fan of yours for a couple of years and I see you're just killing the game.
thank you.
You're in so many different like cool bands. I love your style, I love your music, I love the fact that you're so goddamn good on guitar.
Thank you so much.
So when I saw this post that you put up a few weeks or a few months ago now, that triggered me. I'm like, I need to get this person on my podcast. I'll put it up here so people can read it, but it's basically you sitting on the ground in, I guess it's your studio or practice room.
It's a rehearsal place near where I live. Yeah.
Yeah. And just the text, it resonated with me because you could translate this across to any aspect of what's going on right now. And you're talking about, I won't read the whole thing, but sometimes choosing to be a musician full time is very stressful and mentally draining. The numerous insecurities that come along with the amount of practice and has to be put into guitar playing and deliver unending responsibilities that come when you manage yourself. Like, with musicians and with fighters and with people in industries where it's in the public light, we see you when the makeup is on, the hair is done, you're looking great, you're on stage, the lights are on, and your guitar soloing away. But we forget all the hard work that came with that and all the stresses that came with that. And when I talk to people on this podcast, I want to talk to real people, not just celebrities that are in the spotlight all the time and everything is positive and amazing. I want to like relive the hard times that got you there, so that's truly inspiring for me to see that you put that out to the world. I love it.
Well, for me, it's very important to stay real. I don't like when people also show a different fake personality of them just to like please the people. I'm a real person and I don't like to fake the person that I am. I can put myself into a persona. That's what I do when I'm on stage, but that's like part of being an artist, something that I naturally do. It's like theater, you can perform, it's performing. And but as for my own real personality, that will never change, and I will always show the person that I am. I will never fake it. And also, I like to be open with the people that follow me and my fans. I like to be honest. I don't like to, when I'm feeling very, for example, I wasn't feeling very well that day. You know, I can be quite open about it when it's necessary. Of course, I'm not gonna share every single detail, but it's important to share awareness that not everything is like roses and sunshine. You know, it's like sometimes it's also not going good, and that's normal. You know, everyone has this, even musicians.
Yeah, and I translate this across to fighting and training in the gym. And as I said, everybody loves to see the fighter walk down towards the ring with the muscles built and ready to go with that angry face looking to kill. But not everyone understands that there are numerous nights in the gym, every single night, where you start to question yourself, you question your dedication, you start to wonder after having a bad night training, is this for me? I've had plenty of nights where I sat after training with my arms folded, just going, I suck. And my coach said that I'm not doing well and I need to do harder. I was nearly pulled out of a fight 3 weeks before the fight because I was not training to the best of my abilities. And
Damn.
I ended up winning that fight. And, you know, everyone saw me with my hand raised and looking happy and drinking beer afterwards. But not everybody knows that what happened in the gym 3 weeks before was me sitting in a puddle of my own tears, questioning if I even want to go and do this anymore.
I totally get it. You know, I have the same with my guitar playing. I'm very perfectionistic. As for everything what I do, I always want to over perform and be like good enough, you know, for what I'm doing. I want to raise the bar every time, and it's never enough. Sometimes I feel like I always can do better, and whenever I am give myself 100% sometimes, and then I don't get exactly what I wanted to reach, and that can be very frustrating. For example, when you make mistakes when in a certain rehearsal or actually on stage, for example, I felt like sometimes in the live stream recordings I made mistakes that I never do when I'm rehearsing, and that's very frustrating because you get nerves. These nerves make you perform a little bit less good, you know, and this is very frustrating things, a part of being a musician, you know. But maybe I guess some people have less problems with it. Myself, I struggle with it a lot, and I always want to give my uttermost best for the bands that I'm in, you know, and also for the fans because they deserve only but the best. And this is a lot of pressure to live in, and that's mainly why I put this post, because I am in two bands and I also have to manage myself on everything to do it, like do the interviews, do record stuff, my YouTube channel that hasn't been updated in so long, you know, all these little things that I have to like think about is very, very, very stressful. But it's very fun though. At the end of it all, it's very fulfilling. But the stressful part is just doing everything 100% as you wanted it to be.
Yeah, that's it. And I've got like a few people at the gym that come to me and ask me questions about training, and if things aren't going their way, like some I think some people want to be a professional 2 months into their beginnings, and they don't realize that there's years and years of perfecting certain moves. I would equate that, I guess, to playing guitar. You didn't just become this shredding killer guitarist overnight. You probably spent hours in your bedroom figuring out chords and chord progressions and learning through, I think you said in previous interviews, through YouTube and watching Kiss, things
Yeah.
like that.
No, I'm a self-learner, so I learned guitar all by myself. And I started as a bass player initially, so it was not even my main instrument in the beginning. I considered myself very much a bedroom player because I used to practice a lot at home and behind my computer and sitting on my chair and, you know, without expecting anything to happen. I was more of like a best bass player, and I was also having my side job as a web developer before.
Oh, wow.
So music was like, oh yeah, it's my passion, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna make it, you know. But later on, I got very cool opportunities as a guitar player, something that I was quite surprised about because I thought that I was way better bass player, and guitar was like, you know, could be a lot better. And I never standed on stage as a guitar player. So that kind of like pushed me to really raise my skills with the guitar playing as for when I joined Burning Witches, because having not ever played guitar on stage is something that is very it's like you gotta get used to it. I've been always a bass player, always playing with my fingers. Now suddenly I have to pick something that I've only done when I was sitting, and all of a sudden I have to do it standing, which is completely different feeling, completely different.
Yeah.
And it's like I had to relearn to play guitar. And that was a huge pressure on me, because there were a lot of expectations. Burning Witches was already a very big band, and they had already a fan base. So everyone would look at me like with a glass.
Yeah.
So there's it's just a slight mistake, because I had to play obviously the solos from the previous guitar player. Then people would say, yeah, she's not very good. She's la, and I was like, God damn, so much so much pressure, and I learned to like create a barrier and not like pay attention to that anymore. But it really pushed me to like get better, try to nail everything. And it took me a while. It definitely took me a while, because it's not easy to go from here, to go a lot better. It takes away, and some people don't realize that it's a lot of work that has to be put in to deliver something better. And yeah, so after those 2.5 years that I've been in Burning Witches, I definitely felt that I've got a lot better, yes, for performance and also playing. And yeah, it's just this last 2 years, I even started taking it even more seriously once I started with Cobra Spell and Cobra Spell and Crypta,
Yeah.
sorry. And yeah, because Crypta is a death metal band, and death metal is a lot more technical. And there is a lot of speed. The solos have to be a lot faster. This is something that. But I started getting guitar lessons by Marcel Koenen, a very good guitar player here in the Netherlands. I started writing my own music with Crypta and Cobra Spell. Cobra Spell, you do all the compositions. With Crypta, it's democratic. We all bring in ideas. So all of a sudden it became more of my thing somehow, and I got to really put in my guitar playing into it. So it feels even more natural for me, because finally I'm playing my own music, and that's something that comes from me, and for me will be easier to play, even though it might be technical for other people. It feels more like my style. And yeah, I think with all these 2 years that I've been practicing a lot and a lot and a lot, it's been a lot better. And of course it can be a lot better. I'm still like working towards something, but I'm putting a lot of energy into it to deliver, and to hopefully reach the skill level that I want to reach.
Yeah, for real. You touched on quite a lot there. It's, when you talk about the performance, I remember someone told me before, I used to play in a band. I used to be in a thrash metal band. I was a drummer. But when I was younger, I was in my bedroom pretending that I was on stage playing in front of 50,000 people. But then when I got on stage in like the smaller venues, I was told, like, because I was trying to manage my nerves, they were like, just pretend you're back in your bedroom. So there's that like vice versa effect when you're trying to perform on the big stage. And I guess it's the same with fighting. When you're training in the gym, there's like a handful of training partners. And when you're fighting in front of 500 or 1,000 people, you kind of want to just block all those people out. It's not for show. You've got to, focus on your guy. But with
Yeah, it's hard to do that, by the way. I've had a lot of struggles with stage anxiety, even as a bass player, I never had anxiety on stage. I was always like, I'm not scared, I can do this. But with Burning Witches, it was different, my previous band, because there was already a lot of expectations, and these expectations create a lot of nerves. And you know that people are not gonna say something if you don't play well. You're gonna read it in the reviews, you're gonna read it everywhere, So there was a lot of pressure. And yeah, I was just getting started, to be honest, just a guitar player. And yeah, I had a lot of nerves. And whenever something was not good, I guess people were gonna tell me, and that made me really like anxious on stage. That's why it's kind of worked against me a little bit. That's why I kind of left Burning Witches too, because all I did, whatever energy I put into the band, um, I always got like criticism in any kind of way. I know this is quite personal,
yeah,
but yeah, it was always like, it's never good enough, never good enough. And at a certain point, you don't enjoy it anymore. You just want to play. And I feel whenever I played careless, I played the best. And if I played with the pressure of having to perform a certain level or whatever other people want, for example, a manager or something, whenever they want something, I get like not good. I don't get what I want to be. And that's what's kind of avoided me to express myself in the best way possible, because you get all this things in your head of you have to do this, you have to do that, but then you forget that you have to be yourself. And that's why it's not my thing. I started my own 2 bands, and in this way I can do my own thing, and I feel like so much better because it's my actual thing, and I don't have anyone telling me, hey, this is not good, you have to do it this way. No, because it's my thing, so I do it my own way. And that, I think that's been probably the best choice I've done in the COVID time.
Amazing. But that's what makes you real. That's what I love to hear. Trying to equate this across to like other musicians who we think are bulletproof and who are just these aggressive, non-stop, take no shit people. They all probably feel anxiety, but they don't like talk about it. And I think the most pivotal movie or documentary, I guess you'd ever put out there would be things like Some Kind of Monster by Metallica. You saw that movie?
I haven't seen the movie yet. No, I
It's
should
it's
definitely do
insane.
it.
It's back when they were going through their issues in 2001, and there's a line in the movie where they have a therapist come in, and they just basically are talking about it was basically a making of their album that turned into the demise of their corporation, their business, their band, and like being free enough to risk being seen by the people was the quote, where these Metallica guys were not these raging alcoholic drug pushing killers on the road, that these were very, very sensitive guys who suffer from all these normal human being things. And
Yeah.
I wonder if those documentaries were out in the 80s, how many bands would put it out and how many bands would see the world react to their insecurities and their anxieties and their stage nerves, things like that, I'm
Yeah, I think
fascinated about things.
everyone in I mean, not even in music, but everyone in the world actually would need a therapist. We all have our own little traumas and little personal problems. Everyone has this because we live in a world that is not perfect. Um, we get so many things that can hurt us. Um, it's normal, it's human, and it's not bad to be sensible. It's something that also I have thought a lot of because I'm a very sensible person. It's something that wasn't appreciated in my previous band. It was something that was seen as a weakness whenever I was not feeling emotionally well, and that's something that hurt me a lot because I become even worse. If my personality, my sensibility is not all right, then I blame myself for being the way I am, and all I could do is, oh, I'm not good enough, I should be stronger, I should be better, you're not strong enough, and these things are going to be all the time in your head. And this the only that can only make it worse, in my opinion. It's hard to explain. I think sensibility is something very beautiful, and I'm now starting to really understand how it works. It's been 2 years since I left the previous band, and I'm starting to really get to see how it is. Firstly, I always blamed myself for everything, but now I'm learning it's not your problem, it's just their problem.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's such a good way to look at it too, because I put up an episode of this show during the week, and I reflected on mental health and my own struggles through the pandemic of my like I don't play in a band anymore. I don't play music anymore, but I do a lot of fighting, and well, I don't fight anymore, but I do a lot of training. And my release in life was concerts. I would go to so many concerts per month, and all that's taken away from me as a fan and you as a musician, to go from country to country playing your favorite music that you composed to the fans that love and want to see more of you. So it needs to be treated with more respect. It's like, we're all kind of just waiting for that green light to go, but no one's really asking, hey, listen, are you okay? You seem down. I haven't seen you smile in so long. But it really does need to be respected, and you being so open and honest about that just reminds me that I'm a fan of a real person, not just a celebrity on stage, you know. That's
Yeah.
I trust that that comes across as a compliment to you.
Thanks. Yeah,
Amazing.
definitely. I mean, definitely. I like to be authentic. I don't want to be someone that is faking some kind of dream world, because what does it help for someone? I think
Mhm.
people can, it's better when you can talk about something that you can agree on, that makes you human, and that you can both like feel each other in a certain way, because I think that's, I don't know how to explain it.
We just assume.
It's just I don't I've lived my whole life like this, I don't imagine trying to act like someone else, because that's not who I am. I just I was always pursued by my family to be by my parents to be someone that I want to be, and not let anyone tell me how to live my life, not even a manager, not even like maybe, yes, maybe I can get advice, but I will never like change my who Sonia Anubis is. That's who I am, and I'm not going to change it unless it's like getting not good, unless if I'm really not being kind, or maybe if I'm not being I can definitely take advice on my parents, or you know
Yeah, for real. And with your content that you push out on social media, albeit YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever it is, I love how eclectic you are with what you do put out, because there's such a wide range. You do playthroughs of Kiss and Motley Crue. There's like some Megadeth in there, and then all of a sudden, your music that you actually play live is this really assassinating death metal shredding. When I get ready for the podcast here, my wife is in the next room doing home office, and I'm just like trying to get ready. Exactly. So it's just like that wide range of stuff that you put out there. Like when I hear things like Kiss, I Was Made for Loving You, and put on Echoes of the Soul, it's like a completely different spectrum of music. So
yeah, but actually, for me, it's death metal is also very special. I've had a huge death metal, and no, it's not a phase, because I'm still really liking death metal, but back when I was 16 years old, I was joining a lot of death metal bands as a bass player until my 20th. So for 4 years, I've been like in, I don't know how many bands,
yeah,
in playing death metal as a bass player. I've been listening to a lot of death metal, gone to a lot of death metal festivals, met a lot of death metal bands. I've been always a huge fan of death metal. I have a very broad taste of music. I also like thrash metal, black metal, heavy metal, hard rock, or even genres outside of the metal. I really like synthwave, for example. So it's not something that comes unnatural for me. What I make with Crypta is also what I write too. It's music that comes from me too. And for me, death metal is part of something of me very special. And um, it feels very natural, even though it's the first band that I play guitar, death metal as a guitar player. That's something that was, of course, different, but it came so natural to me. The same goes for Cobra Spell, which is heavy rock. I've never been playing in a band that is heavy rock aside of Burning Witches, which was more heavy power metal. So it's like I can put myself into the genre because I have a passion for metal, and it's not heavy metal or thrash metal. It's everything metal. There are certain styles maybe in metal that I don't like, which are more like political, or that support a certain. I mean, I like thrash metal. It can be political too, but whenever it becomes something that I don't support, like the Nazi black metal bands,
yeah.
that's something that I will never ever listen in my life. This kind of styles I don't like. So only the stuff that I really respect in metal.
Yeah, for real. I only listen to death metal when I'm lifting weights, because it evokes
Okay,
the demons that are in my muscles and in my head, and it allows me to get
cool.
that weight up, and it's just like the monsters are controlled in here. But when I lift weights, it needs to get dark, and it gets really dark with death metal. I was introduced to death metal back in 2007 with my brother.
Mm-hmm.
He told me about this band Suffocation.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. And Suffocation came to my hometown and they did like two shows in one day. One was for like underage kids, and my brother was like, I think 14 at the time. So I took him to that. And then the nighttime show was like with alcohol and adults. And yeah, that was a Sunday night. And work in the office with a shirt and tie the next morning was not a pleasant experience for anybody. That was for damn sure. But
Yeah, I know the band. Yeah.
yeah, I got to meet Mike Smith, the drummer. I got to meet him outside the venue. I was like, starstruck.
Cool.
But
Nice.
with Crypta, I have a kind of a funny association with Crypta. When your album came out, I bought it, and you know when you buy something on your iPhone, like the first, like it's the next purchase, it appears first on your phone, and you know the first song, Starvation, I believe. When I put my kids to bed, I got two young kids. When I put them to bed, sometimes bedtime is a bit of a struggle. So
Mhm.
I have these magic creatures right here, and I put them on. And when I think it's Awakening is the intro track.
Mhm.
When I skip that one and Starvation comes on, and the kids and their screaming leave my head because of that song. I'm forever grateful to Crypta for that beautiful
Wow.
piece of music.
That sounds that sounds very an interesting story.
I love it. It's just a fun association with the band. So for like a month before, like I bought another
Yeah.
song. That was my first go-to song because it was the quickest one to access.
It's the most straightforward one,
Yeah,
definitely from the album. The more brutal death metal styled. I mean, I would say it's still more old school still, but it has a very brutal vibe in it, more than the other songs in the album.
yeah, for real. Great.
That's why we put it also in the beginning of the album because it's such a slap in the face.
Yeah, and your solos are just out of this world. I have when I'm walking on the street and the solo comes on and people see me do this, I'm like, sorry, I gotta calm down.
This guy's air guitar playing in the street.
It's a real problem that people don't really talk about, but air guitar is a mental health issue that I suffer with, especially on the
No,
bus.
it's not a mental health issue. It's a good mental health thing.
It's a mental and physical because you know.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. But I love all of what you put out there, and just even being able to talk to you and trying to relate it to what I'm trying to do with this podcast and my gym and my love of heavy metal music is it's surreal to be able to talk to you about this.
Oh, well, I really appreciated that you come to me and ask me for an interview, and I'm really having fun on this interview because it's so like personal and we actually talk. It's not like question or answer.
Yeah,
This is flowing very nicely.
that's
I
the
really like
goal.
that.
That's the goal. I don't want to be like, so you started in 2004 and then you went from here to there. And where do you get your inspirations for your music? It's like,
Nah, 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 nah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just boring. But with this podcast, I want to talk about the real things, like the real issues, the real problems, the real things that we face. Because like I've fought in a ring, I fought in a cage, and people see me under the bright lights, and when I win, my hand is raised. But nobody saw me in the gym for like 10 weeks preparing for this, watching my diet, getting my ass kicked by my training partners, wondering if I'm good enough, wondering if I should quit. What will I do if I quit? Nobody understands
All
that.
these hours that go into it,
Yeah,
all those practicing, training. It's a lot of physical, how to say it? It can be very physically draining, but also mentally draining. And it's something that you're putting all your energy into it, and you have so much expectations to get back. And when you don't get what you want, it can be so frustrating.
yeah, that's the thing, and that's what we don't. That's what we don't get asked as fighters or as coaches or as musicians. It's just, when's your next show? When can I see you on stage with the bright lights and all that type of stuff? But it's what goes into it makes all that stuff worthwhile. And like, I want to ask you as well about, your like touring aspirations for the future. Like, are you chomping at the bit to get out there and get on tour and travel the world? Or are you just kind of like, all right, let's just see how this is going to pan out?
We have a lot of touring gonna happen on next year. We are planning the whole year long, literally. the whole year long full of touring. Um, of course, there is just a couple of things confirmed so far publicly with Crypta. For example, the European tour in April together with Decide and Christian. We also have a South American tour together with Belfagor, Christian, and another band. And this is going to be also around many South American countries and Brazil. There's going to be a lot more. It's I cannot still talk about it yet, but it will soon be confirmed. And we also have like festivals being confirmed. For example, Wacken in Germany, which is amazing. You know, it's going to be my second time playing there, and playing there with the band that just released one album is just mind blowing to me. But it's going to be epic. We have a lot coming, yeah. Not this year, but the next one. So 2020, 22.
Yeah.
That's going to be the year we are aiming to tour as much as we can and hopefully promote the hell out of Echoes of the Soul, because we haven't been able to do that, unfortunately.
It's a killer album. It's just like to hear this live would be just so fucking killer, you know? I just, for me as a fan, I feel deprived of the last 2 years from concerts. Like in a selfish, sulking kind of way. It's like I want to go to a concert and drink a beer with my friends, but it's your livelihood. It's your job. It's your path to success. If like I can find something else to do, but you're kind of just sitting there waiting for the green light to tour the world. So I
Yeah.
can only imagine that that's just
But
like,
I'm not sitting still though. I'm not sitting still. I there's a lot of things that we can still do, you know, writing music. We're already writing the second album with Crypta. Now I'm gonna go to the studio next month with Cobra Spell, record the second EP. There's a lot of stuff that we're gonna do still. You know, the world keep time keeps on going.
yeah.
You can still do stuff, you know, from home or give guitar lessons. Anything that I can do besides touring, I'm doing it right now. And mostly right now too, because if next year I'm gonna be away from home so long, this means that I have to like work forward with everything that I can do here. So whenever I'm leaving, that it's set.
I got Ozzy Osbourne tickets. He was supposed to play November 2019, and there was health issues, and that was cancelled. It was moved forward to 2020, 2021, and now 2023. So
Seriously?
yeah,
Oh, let's hope he still makes it, to be honest.
that's the conversation in the comments section. Is like, will he still be alive? You know, his health is not where it needs to be
No,
for a world tour.
he's old. He's had quite a life, you know.
Yeah,
I really hope I get to see him ever in my life, because I haven't had a chance to either see him solo or with Black Sabbath. You know, they were before he was playing with Black Sabbath some tours, but I just missed everything. You know, I haven't been able to see any of that. So I hope I get at least to see Ozzy somehow ever live.
yeah,
And I know he's gonna tour with Zach Wild, right? The shows. That's
yeah.
gonna be epic, you know.
Absolutely. 2007, Ozzy came to Dublin and the support band was Black Label Society. So Zach
Mm,
came out for 40 minutes and played with Black Label Society, went backstage, came out and played 2 hours of show with Ozzy. I'm like, oh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
respect, yeah, much respect. That's so
Absolutely.
cool.
Really cool. Final question before I get you out of here. And it's a question I always like to ask musicians. As a fan, what would have been your favorite concert to attend live?
Ooh, well, I actually already had my favorite concerts that I attended to. Um, Kiss, you know, it's my favorite band, the band that got me into music. You know, I owe them everything for what I'm doing. So I would love to see Kiss again. You know, I will never get tired of seeing them live. But also Alice Cooper and Anthrax. I think these three bands for me are awesome to see live. I would love to see Wasp too, even though they're not the full band anymore. Blackie Lawless is still there, but you know, I would love to see Wasp with Randy Piper. That would be
Yeah.
so cool. Um, yeah, so I think these four bands are very meaningful to me. I've already seen part of them live, but I would see them again and again and again because they inspire me. They drive me to just become a better version of myself and remind me of why I do this, why I play music in the first place, you know, for fun. that's what I do it.
There you go. I mean, that's it. A lot of people, like, especially the guys, they get in for the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and they kind of like get into that alcoholic phase, and then it's like, I'm sober, and then it just teeters off. But you get in there for the fun. You do it for the love of the music and the passion, and
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you know,
And sometimes, you get so much sucked into it that you think that you have to work, 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 work. And then you forget, hey, you have to have fun. You do this for yourself. And whenever I'm listening to music that I like, whenever I'm playing these covers on my YouTube channel, like whenever I'm playing Kiss or whenever I'm playing Motley Crue or any other bands that I appreciate, they remind me, hey, this is fun to do, enjoy, just do it. And the same is when I'm being on stage and I'm standing there in front of a crowd full of people. That's my favorite thing from being a musician, because I get the exact feeling that the musicians that I look up to have when they are on stage. And this is what I worked for. That's what I work for, to be here on top of the stage playing in front of someone. And of course, it's been 2 years since I've hadn't had that. I mean, last week I had it first time in 2 years.
yeah,
So knowing that it will come back eventually after the COVID, for me, it's like a relief. And it's the reason why I do this. And yeah, just watching these live bands really reminds me, hey, this is where you want to go work towards to. This is gonna be you in the future, maybe.
amazing.
So I mean, I'm not gonna be as cool as they are, but I'm gonna be my version of it, hopefully.
You're going to be, if not cooler, Sonia. I swear to God, you're a true inspiration. I love watching what you put out there. I love your posts. I love Cobra Spell and Crypta. I love everything that you put out there, and it's an absolute pleasure for me to sit down and talk to you on this podcast. Any final words for anyone listening who's a fan of yours? I've got a friend here in Lucerne, actually, Manuel, very big fan of yours.
Well, firstly, I want to thank everyone, and I want to thank you for having me. For everyone that's listening, the interview, and has been supporting me in this crazy, crazy amount of COVID time that we've had. It's hard to release an album in this time and hard to promote it. And everyone wants us to get on stage, but we're just waiting for the moment that everything just gets better with the COVID situation. We don't want the numbers to raise. We don't want the country to get in lockdown again. We just want everything to be right, so we are ready to get on stage and everything is safe and nobody needs to wear the mask and everyone can march. That's what we want. That's what we want to work towards to. So we're thankful for everyone's patience, and yeah, thanks for the support, and hoping that in the future, hopefully next year, we can come very near you and play and break all the stages near you and tour around and hopefully get things back to normal. Aside of that, I would encourage everyone to follow their dreams and yeah,
Amazing.
be yourself. I mean,
Amazing. That's exactly why I asked you on this show. This is just perfect for me. Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you hear and if you like what you see, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It will help grow this podcast. Subscribe. Hit the like button, or if you don't like me, hit the dislike button. I think it's still there according to the rumors. Or a comment with your feedback. Anything at all is welcome. I just want to interact and give you guys what you want. I don't have anything else to say. Sonia, it's an absolute pleasure for me to have you here. Honest to God.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Take care of yourselves, guys. Rock and roll.
Bye bye.